What's up, everyone? I'm Kieran,
I'm Trey.
and welcome back to this week's episode of Builder Sports Live. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Builder Sports Live. First things first, we're going to take a look at men's basketball from the past week. On Wednesday, the guys picked up an awesome 77-62 win at Bethel in North Newton. Student section was going crazy there. Football team in full pads. Trey, it was kind of a takeover night for the Mound Builders, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything was clicking. Evan Barber, 21 points, 3 rebounds. That was just a physical game. I mean, that was kind of like a heavyweight battle, I think, all night.
Yeah, I think Evan at a certain point just popped takeover. He was driving on essentially every possession, found his kick-out passes when he needed to. People were burying threes, and just kind of kept it going throughout the whole game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Eli Sawyers, we've been talking about him past couple episodes. He stepped up big, and then he did on Saturday too.
Yeah.
82-55 win against York. I mean, he was all over the place. He had 8 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 blocks.
Yeah, that's not something you hear of like at all. I will say the last two games, he's got that full sleeve, full leg sleeve. He's looking iced out, but he's been going.
Yeah.
If that's what worked for him, he's been maybe more limited on the minute side leading up to this, but the last 2 weeks, he's just in flow state, it seems like.
We were talking about it in the on the courtside countdown. I just think he's so much more comfortable. He's leading the break. He's, kind of in the beginning of the year, he was playing his role, getting rebounds, passing it. But he's got the confidence and the skill to lead the break and pass. So
yeah, I think that's a rarity too. Like that I've seen it, especially here, big men taking the ball down the court. He's not like, oh my God, I have to get the ball off my hands. He's just like, all right, let's run the fast break.
Yeah.
And that's very uncommon, I feel like.
Yeah, and he's young too. So I mean, if we got him for 3 more years, then he can be really good for us. He can be a guy we can almost build around and complement him in the future. So, I mean, Wyatt Bell added 18 points in the game versus York. Evan Barber, 14 points. Austin Hilton got it going off the bench with 18 points. I think the men's basketball program is playing their best ball of the season. And the scoring is much more spread out. It's not so just Wyatt and Evan.
Yeah, which is I think is something that we relied upon the first 2 months of the year. We I think really noticed it the first time we played McPherson. If they didn't score 18 to 20 each, it wasn't competitive, and we weren't going to pull out wins. But now you're seeing Austin step into the mix. Nigel's had some big games down the stretch as well, and even heading into tonight, you got Oakwood here in the field house. You kind of need everyone to step up if you're going to beat a team that's going to play what we called Tiger Ball back in Chicago, 5 in, 5 out all day. You're going to need everyone off the bench.
Yeah, you're not only going to need them, to hit shots, but just to be tough. And, it's going to take, 6, 7, 8 guys. Jesse Ledbetter is a guy that I think of. Logan Churchill just coming in there and for 2 minutes, just playing as hard as you can. That's going to be huge tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be something that is going to need to be like an impact player. Can you find that off the bench that maybe is someone who averages 2 to 3 points a game? Can you 5 your 6 or 7, 8 points that really brings you over the edge in one of these games?
Yeah, I mean, and Oakwood does. They're such a powerhouse, and they're so deep. They play 13 guys. They've played 13 guys in 19 games or more,
that's unheard of.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
And they trust their guys a lot, and they know what they're doing. They scramble a lot on defense.
Yeah.
But we'll need to play pretty physical tonight for sure.
Yeah, and now even looking around the conference, we've continued to kind of sit in that 4-5 seed range. Picking up the win at Bethel's huge. You now sit at a 5, just a game out. Evangel picks up a win at Sterling on Monday to kind of make up that game that we had talked about in the previous episode. So now you kind of know where you land. This game against Oakwood is huge, but for us, as other teams don't have, we're playing everyone above us in the standings down the stretch now.
Yeah, for sure. Every a win tonight, it doesn't necessarily vault us way so far up in the standings, but it does continue our momentum, and I think that's a huge part of it. I mean, we still got to go to Evangel, so I mean that's just the road trip alone is is tough. But yeah, we're into the home stretch of the KCAC. We're 49th in the RPI. In the latest NAI Hoops Report bracketology, we were a 13 seed. Evangel was in the bubble out, so I mean, Evangel's going to be fighting.
Yeah, all these teams down the stretch. I think even on the women's side, we see 2 teams from the KCAC in that first 4 out or next 4 out group. They're going to go all out at you for like the next essentially 3 weeks. You've got everyone, I think, has 6 games left. You're fighting for your life, one, to make the conference tournament, because for a lot of these teams, what a lot of the voters are going to value is how did you play in your conference tournament.
Yeah, and then not only that, but like if you make the the top 8, and maybe you're a Sterling or a K-Dub or a St. Mary, and you're kind of a dark horse in the KCAC, winning the conference tournament, you're kind of like you're all in on that.
Oh,
if you don't win it, you're not getting in.
Yeah, and even for those teams who are on the bubble to get into the KCAC tournament, you can make a run. It's not uncommon to see teams who are 6, 7 seeds in the tournament. You pull off an upset in the first round on the road, you're like, oh, we're in. We got this. And in the next 2 games, you make a run, and you're magically in the national tournament.
Yeah, and that's how, I go back to the 2023 season when we won the KCAC tournament. We were probably making the national tournament, but I think we finished 4th in the conference in the regular season, and that was kind of our mentality. Just let's just go. Why would we not try to win it? I mean, at this point. So.
Yeah, and I think Opie has mentioned so much in all of the pregame interviews. You need to play your best basketball at the last 2 weeks of February, in the first week of March.
Yeah, and he was saying that in at the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah, it was November at football games.
Yeah, and he wasn't. He says it all the time. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. Yeah. And he lives it out, and they're playing their best basketball right now. So.
Yeah, and it's really showing. But thank you, everyone. Right after this, we'll give you a little insight on the track and field season and women's basketball.
Southwestern Athletics is proud to partner with the Barns at Timber Creek, a premier bed and breakfast, wedding, and outdoor venue near Wichita, Kansas. At the Barns, you'll enjoy the charm of the 1890s with all the comforts of today. Relax in the peaceful country atmosphere, take in the starlit skies, and watch deer, turkeys, and fireflies across the summer pastures. Owners Martin and Cheryl Rude have created the perfect place for a quiet getaway or a memorable event.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Builder Sports Live. Now it's time to go through women's basketball from the last week. The Lady Builders right now sit at 4-18 overall, a tough 0-16 in the KCAC. We'll start with an 81-44 loss at Bethel on Wednesday. Macy's still putting up stats. She's trying to hit that 1,000 career point mark. She's right on the average. She needs 17 a game, maybe a little bit more. She's hitting it. But just a tough game overall for the Builders. When you go down 22-4 in the first quarter, there's not a lot you can battle back from.
Yeah, they jumped on us from the start. And Bethel just knocked off Evangel. The girls did. So, Bethel's a really good team. And I think they got better from when they played us at home.
Yeah, they definitely
think they were much better, a much better team.
Yeah, for sure. Their transition offense is insane. They just have depth within their bigs that you can't match.
Yeah.
They had 6'2" off the bench, 6'3" off the bench. We just get into foul trouble early, and that's that.
Yeah, and our guard play. We were subbing 5 in, 5 out.
Yeah.
Kind of just, I'm assuming, just to mix things up.
Yeah.
But that kind of gave us a different look. But their guards were just, they were just running and gunning, and as you said, much deeper than us.
And then bringing it to Saturday, one of probably the most competitive games we've had in Stewart Fieldhouse this year, besides the McPherson home opener for the Lady Builders, a 76-74 loss to York. You saw 4 big scorers for the women's basketball team. Kennedy Ford puts up 24 and 9. Macy puts up 23 and 13. And then Brianna Goad puts up 19, shooting 5 of 9 from 3. To start off the first quarter, we sat next to each other on the scorers table thinking Brianna might score 40 today with how the first quarter went. She's definitely someone who is a very great spot-up shooter. York just double-teamed her for the remainder of the game and kind of took her out of the equation.
Yeah, she hit 4 or 5 threes in the first quarter, and then they just face-guarded her. And, I think they put one of their better defenders on her, if I'm not mistaken, just to take her out of the game.
Yeah.
Which, as a freshman, that's where most freshmen get their points is from spot up threes.
Yeah.
And you saw they took that away, and it kind of affected our game.
Yeah, for sure. I think that kind of let Macy get her engine going in the second quarter and into the second half. Through the first quarter, she wasn't really getting a ton of momentum going down the hill. She really found that, though, in the second half. We win the second and third quarters of this game, and I think the fourth as well, which is really unfortunate to see for a team that, with 30 seconds left, the game's tied. Stuart Fieldhouse is rocking, and you're like, oh my, can just one shot go in at the end?
Yeah, we were all hoping for it, but yeah, Macy's. Sometimes it does take her a little bit to get going, but I think she just plays her best basketball when she's, playing just free and like she's playing pickup basketball at the rec or something. We were talking about it in courtside countdown. Play like you got nothing to lose.
Oh yeah, statistically, you're eliminated from the KCAC tournament now with just 6 games to go. You can't get to that 8 seed anymore. But even you see freshmen like Emma Parker, who didn't get a ton of playing time to start the year, are now starting, and she's like their defensive effort maker on the team. She gets a steal in the last 30 seconds of the game that kind of gives Southwestern a shot to win. Fortunately, it doesn't go down.
Yeah.
But you're looking at these kind of small improvements across the board when you need kind of young players who are going to play on this team for the next couple of years.
Yeah, and at this point in the season, it's kind of just, when you get your chance to get a couple minutes here and there, what can you show Coach Burt that you can bring to the table for next year?
Yeah.
If you can be an effort, type player that can, get 3 and D or something like that, then maybe we can take that into next year.
Yeah, it would definitely be something super important. And then looking around the KCAC, Evangel and Friends, the top 2 teams in the conference, still in the top 25. Evangel sitting at 17 and Friends at 20, and they're both consistently seen in the women's bracketology reports as well. So it seems like they're kind of your safe bets in. Bethel and Sterling are your first in that first 4 out group on the women's side still that we've seen for the last couple weeks. Bethel picks up a big win earlier this week, and Sterling has kind of shown improvement. They only lose by 9 to Evangel on that Monday game.
Mm-hmm.
They look like they're in it the whole game, but they just can't get across the finish line.
Yeah, I mean, Friends is 11th in the RPI. Evangel's 12th. As you said, Evangel just, dropped 1 at Bethel, and that's a huge win for Bethel.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they don't, finish where they want to, then they're going to have to rely on an at-large bid to get into the national tournament.
Yeah, and knocking off essentially the best team in your conference, who we think was on a 16 or 17 game win streak at a point. 2 of their losses, which were exhibition games, were 4-point games to Division II schools who are pushing into being ranked in the top 25 in Division II. This team, and we've seen it, can press you all day and just dominate. So it's not shocking to see them doing well again.
Yeah, no, not at all. Evangel and Bethel and Friends, they're kind of the three-headed snake of the KCAC right now. And Sterling can make a run. They seemed a little sloppy when they played us at times. They struggled with turnovers a little bit. First-year head coach. So we'll see in the conference tournament what it brings. And a new little wrinkle as of last year. We're not going to Hartman anymore. We're not going to Hartman Arena for the championship. So it's at host sites everywhere.
Yep.
So St. Mary on the boys' side, I know. They hosted the KCAC championship and they won it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it definitely plays a huge role, especially if you're a school where someone has to travel a long distance to you. You could see the true advantage of being a 1 seed when you toss out all the neutral site stuff. That regular season championship really means a lot.
Yeah, and even if you're if you're the 4 and 5, the 4 and 5 matters too. If a 2 or if a 1 seed gets upset, then now you're the higher seed.
Yeah,
so.
You're magically hosting a home game in the semifinal, and you may have not thought you were going to play a home game in the tournament, which is insane. But it's definitely super interesting to see. Across the women's game as a whole now, I think this KCA tournament will be secretly competitive. We've seen that we didn't kind of think that 2 through 4 and 5 group prove a ton.
Yeah, we were talking about it, in the pregame show. It's such a tight race in the middle of the KCAC. So these teams, especially with their postseason lives on the line, they're gonna be scratching and clawing at each other. Um, so we can expect some pretty competitive games on
Yeah,
both sides.
definitely. All right, everyone, right after this, we're going to send things over to Charles, a.k.a. Kurt Caden, and you're going to get to see a couple interviews with our women's basketball program.
Graves Drug has everything you need in a pharmacy and more. From online refills and free local delivery to vitamins, medical equipment, and gifts, Graves Drug is your one-stop shop. Locally owned and serving the Winfield community for over 73 years, Southwestern College Athletics is proud to partner with Graves Wellness Clinic. Graves Drug is here for you. What attracted you about coming to Southwestern?
Well, when I was applying to everywhere, probably around 60 to 70 schools, this one popped up. And when Coach Burt got hired, he had reached out through text. So love of the internet and just being able to connect in that way. Our first couple calls just were fantastic. It was supposed to be a 30-minute interview, kind of turned into hour and a half of us, talking basketball. And then all of a sudden, just understanding that we really connected well, not only with sports, but just in life in general. So.
And what have you picked up from Coach Burt? I know he's got a lot of experience as an assistant coach and now as a head coach here at Southwestern. What have you picked up from him?
Yeah, it's been fantastic just seeing, just in the graduate assistant role, not having assistant coaches. He's given us a fantastic opportunity to really develop as coaches, get comfortable not only just in drills, but in-game scenarios and practices. It's just been fantastic. Him giving us that opportunity to be more comfortable just leading things and being in charge of them, but then also doing the dirty work behind the scenes, which is what I'm used to, but really being involved as there's no assistant coaches. You're doing everything, and that's something that I really found important when we had those first couple interviews and talks on the phone, is that something that I really wanted to get used to.
Coming to Southwestern, a women's program that has had a good history of success, but in recent years has been down. Trying to build it up. Big challenge, and I know Coach Burt, I think he told you that right from the get-go, but you were excited for that challenge. What led you to the, you knew this was not going to be just a nice, easy season, right?
Yeah. I've always been with programs that have been successful. I've never been a part of a rebuild process before in my life, whether I was playing or coaching. I felt it was a good opportunity to really see the other side of basketball and really finding ways to fight through adversity. As most of my teams, you can have certain ways of just getting some wins, and I felt like this is a good opportunity for me to learn as a graduate assistant coach how to be comfortable in those situations and fight and get better each and every day.
What have you seen from this team from when you guys first started working out in October to where you are now here in the final couple weeks of the season? What has pleased you as a graduate assistant coach here?
Yeah, similar to why I became a coach is just building those relationships with my players, understanding that that's going to help with that trust and what it comes into practice and into games. I think that's something that's been super beneficial is, with a smaller team, you have a lot of time with them and you don't have as many names to remember in the first year. So that was something that really I took into play right away, understanding that, we have a smaller team and I'm excited to learn and get to really know them. So when it comes to pushing them in practice or pushing them in games, it gives us an opportunity to really, have that, firm foundation right away.
I'm curious, your first impression when you came inside Stewart Fieldhouse, that historic building here on campus. What was your first thoughts?
Yeah, I had already taken the job when it was my first time in the gym, so I was really excited about it. My parents were here, my brother was here, and we got to tour it, and it's so unique compared to any of the gyms that I've coached in or played in. Just the historic idea of it has been an awesome selling point for myself when I decided to take the job, but then also selling it to recruits and understanding that, you can play in, newer gyms that may have some different pieces to it, but the history behind it has been fantastic.
I know the recent snows didn't throw you off here. No big deal to you, right?
No, not at all. This was a normal Wisconsin snowfall.
And it just got away. It's gone quicker than you're used to, though.
Exactly.
Sure.
This would be here a lot longer.
Real quick, anyone back in the Mequon, Milwaukee area you want to say hi to?
Yeah, mom and dad, of course, just letting me, move here, and they've been fully supportive, watching all of our games from home. My brother, he's still in college at Concordia. He's loving it, doing a really good job. My girlfriend back home, we've been dating for 3 years. This is our first time long distance. She's been awesome, super supportive, really buying into what I want to do with coaching. She's currently going for physical therapy school, and she's doing great in her first year. So that's been really exciting to kind of work that long distance and make sure that we're both holding each other accountable to the standards that we want for our future careers. So.
Well, you're just a tremendous human, and great to have you on here for the first time, and look forward to visiting with you more here on the show.
Awesome. Thank you.
Eddie Braatz joining us here. We'll be back with head coach Josh Burt right here on Builder Sports Live.
Builders, the future is here. We're building the Bruce DeHaven Football Complex, honoring a Southwestern legend who rose from small-town Kansas to the NFL's biggest stage. This isn't just a facility, it's a game-changer for our 150-plus student-athletes, giving them the tools, pride, and community to take Builder football to the next level. And you can be part of it. Sponsor a locker for $600 or make your mark at sccans.edu/make-a-gift. Together, let's honor a legend, empower our athletes, and build the future of Builder football. The time is now.
And welcome back. Well, we've had Brianna Goad, we've had Eddie Braatz, now we got the head coach here, first-year head coach Josh Burt. On Builder Sports Live, we've had you here before, Coach, but great to see you again. And for those that may be seeing you for the first time here, again, we've talked about your journey here, but maybe go over that again as an assistant coach and then here to Southwestern.
Yeah, I mean, I started my coaching career coaching high school boys. I was actually a assistant middle school and high school coach at the same time, and then was head coach there for 1 year. Then I was doing girls club basketball in the summertime. And then we ended up being at Bethel together as a group. Spent 3 years there, and then thankfully kind of been in Kansas most of my whole time. But the last 2 years I was at a school in Nebraska, and so been following them and got my first head coaching job here, which it's been fantastic. I mean, like we haven't had a lot of success lately, but we're building this thing for what the future looks like.
Yeah, I like your long-term goal here. Not really. I mean, you're focused on this season and trying to win games, I know, but you see the big picture as well. You've been a part of this before. You've been with teams that have struggled.
Yeah, unfortunately, like year one when you're taking over a rebuild, I mean, we got 4 wins right now. We almost got one the other day against York. Came up a little bit short, but when you're in it like this, it's just part of the process. Some people don't understand until you're in it that it's just you're going to have some highs and lows and everything in between, and it's about working this season towards next year while we're trying to see what we can get accomplished this year.
So close to a win at Tabor just a couple weeks ago. So close to another victory at home on Saturday against York. It's got to be fun for you as a competitor to be in some of those games finally. I know there's been some struggles this year. There's some really good teams in our league. To have those games that come down to the last 2 minutes has to get the juices flowing. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's been fun. It keeps me going for like the next game here. As we finish this thing out here in February, and so the hard part is I need more timeouts. We have players that haven't been in this situation enough when it's late in the game, and a couple turnovers here and there, maybe some missed calls by the officials and whatnot that didn't happen, and so it is what it is. It's hard for the players, I think, too. I think they need some juice to get, if they get a win, it feeds into the next 5 to 7 days of practice, and then mixed in with we're fighting some like flu and sickness going around, so that doesn't help either.
Yeah, it sounds like everyone's got everyone. I've been, my office is a little just across the street. I must be in a good place where I'm at right now. Before we talk more about this team, Eddie Braatz, we got to visit with him. We've had Martha, your other GA, earlier this year. Talk about Eddie. I was really impressed with his demeanor and his vision as well for what he wants to see this.
Oh yeah, he came in here totally bought into this thing. Basically, I recruited him the same way that we're pitching recruits right now as far as what the vision is, and he's going through it a little bit right now. Like I told him it was going to be rough this year sometimes, and I'm sure him and Marta were like, yeah, okay, whatever, coach, right? Like having not been through it, and now that they're in it, there's been some highs and lows for them, and they are experiencing everything possible that they possibly can in the coaching world right now as far as recruiting and scouting. He does our personnel a lot for like opponents and things like that, and then just the day-to-day stuff of what you have to do as a coach.
You were an assistant for a number of years with Drew Johnson, Nicole Oldie at Bethel, and Nebraska Kearney, and Newman as well. What if how fun is it for you? You see these two young coaches, excited to jump in there. How much do you try to guide them? How much do you just let them go and try to figure things out on their own?
A little bit of both. Like in recruiting, I needed them to hit the ground running, so they listened to a couple of my phone calls with recruits early, and then I just said, "Here, you got to go do it." I mean, Marta got off her first phone call and thought she had the worst phone call in the world. That girl actually came and visited and flew in from California to visit and whatnot. We ended up not getting her, but like she came in and laid down on my couch and was like, I was awful, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I wasn't that bad. And Eddie's been started on the coaching side a little bit more the last few years as like a manager. So he's dealt with players like in a different capacity. He hadn't been in recruiting, but he could talk to people, and so like once he heard a few of my calls, and I kind of gave him like a script with some stuff to ask every player, like what's your GPA, what do you want to study, and things like that, and then he just ran with it.
For you, when you think back in your time, your coaching, who was the one biggest influence that really impacted you to get you where you are here today?
Oh, I would obviously say like Drew and Nicole were big, and like Drew did the same thing for me. I went in. I was older though, thankfully, so I had some more life experience that I brought with me. But first year at Bethel, I mean, we just jumped into it, and he was like, "Here, run with this stuff," and gave me things to do, gave me a little bit of guidance, but also gave me the room to grow and make mistakes or say, "Oh, I would have done that differently next time," and things like that. So.
That's cool to think back,
I know.
You got some road behind you to look back at, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Brianna Goad, also, she led things off here in our interviews segment here on Builder Sports Live. I know you and I talk about her in some post-game talks, but here we are on Builder Sports Live to visit about her. She has been fun to watch, her development. She said in high school she was used to shooting the long threes. I know that's something you said you've been trying to get her to shoot more of. She really got you back in the game on Saturday. I've loved watching what she does for your team.
Yeah, she's been great. Like, she's coming out of her shell on and off the court. Part of me having her do the show here was for her to get some experience in that, like, just to be okay with like talking about yourself in public and the team and things like that. And so the struggle was she got us back in it, but then they face guarded her and didn't let her catch the ball a lot after she hit the 5 threes in the first quarter. And so we had to find some other ways to score. I think the growth in her game is going to be here this offseason when she can find ways to get to the rim a little bit more. So when she hit the 5 threes, that kind of limits her game. After that, she didn't get touch the ball enough, and then she didn't get downhill. We've been working on like 2-foot finishes and one more dribble. Sometimes she takes off a little bit too far from the basket. And then you add in the physicality part where like they bump you around and knock you around, and sometimes it's a foul, sometimes it's not. When she learns to grow through that, play through those things.
It's you talk about that, and it just reminds me of Macy Pond when I saw her as a freshman, and she's just this dynamic shooter. She could do some other things, but not as well. And now we see her really being able to score at all 3 levels.
Well, yeah, because she could shoot it early in her career, she had to learn. Like, they're going to scout you and take that away. I mean, I would expect our next opponent they might start the game out face guard and Bree. And so we're going to work on some things for her to be able to like set some ball screens and screens off the ball when she's getting face guarded to try to open that up. Maybe they slide over a little bit and she pops out. But it's been a quick first year for everybody. Like the season, August school starts and you're like, oh, basketball doesn't start till like October, no games. And then before you know it, now we're in February, whatever we are. And so it will be fun to see her growth, what she is when senior year comes for her.
Oklahoma Wesleyan, your opponent here tonight. Not really a pregame show here, but curious on your thoughts on the Eagles coming into town. It was one of those games in Bartlesville where you fell behind, but these kids battled back and gave yourselves a chance in that one. What are you hoping to see from your team here tonight?
Well, we need to hold them in the 60s again. I think the first game was 65 or 69 or something, what they scored. And then I think our offense has gotten better since then. Our zone was not very good our last game, and so we're going to probably have to mix it up. We're going to play some zone and some man. They're better play. Have a good guard on the outside, but they have a couple post players, so we're going to have to maybe double team the post. We're going to have to mix up our defenses and try to keep them off rhythm and hopefully get people that aren't their higher percentage shooters to shoot more.
Well, love what you're doing. I love your attitude and how you're seeing the big picture here, and I love that you have a vision for this program. And I can't wait to see it unfold. And hopefully, I'll be right here on the with the ride on the ride with you here.
Yeah, you and me
Looking
both
forward
come
to it.
along for the ride. Like anybody else that wants to come too. It won't. It might not be flat and narrow the whole way, but I'm excited to see where this thing goes here as the years go.
It's going to be fun. Coach, appreciate what you're doing, and thanks for taking time out today.
Thank you.
Good luck tonight as well.
Yep. Thank you.
Josh Burt joining us here, and we'll send it over to Trey and Kieran right after this on Builder Sports Live.
Builder Sports live stream is brought to you by RCB Bank. At RCB Bank, we believe in banking that makes a community impact. That's why we support local schools and proudly back Southwestern College athletics. Learn more today at rcbbank.bank. RCB Bank, that's my bank, member FDIC.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back after our interviews. We're going to hit on a few things down the stretch here and looking back at the week in Mound Builder Nation. First, we're going to start off with track. They're at Wichita State over the weekend at the Coach Wilson Invitational. Chris Collier-Surley runs a 7:06 in the 60-meter, places him in the top 10 all-time at Southwestern in the indoor section of the record book. Ben Patkowski, also, as you're going to talk about, a member of our football team, ran a 7:24, still inching himself closer into that top 20 group in the 60, and then ran a 24:61 in the 200. Still greatly competitive for a guy who's new to indoor track in the collegiate scene. And then on the thrower group side, Emerson Williams throws 12:97 in shot and 12:10 in the weight throw. Super impressive on the weight side. He's throwing a 45 to 55-pound ball as far as he can. So that's insane. On the women's side, Vanessa Mendoza, she's really excelling in shot right now. Through a 12:07. She's going to also move herself into the indoor top 10, and as well as Malia Pearson. She threw 10:75 in weight over the weekend, and she's continuing to kind of, between the duo of them and the throwers group for the women, they're really pushing each other far, even though they excel in different events. They're doing great so far this year. And then Abigail Eckert, she jumps 4:36 in the women's long jump and runs a 29 in the 200. Both very competitive for the conference, but it is difficult for some of these athletes when you go to these meets. The top of the leaderboard is littered with Division I and Division II athletes.
Right. Yeah. I think that brings up a point about, as a track athlete, kind of pushing your teammates. Obviously we don't have great numbers right now, but in a perfect world, we'd have a lot of track athletes.
Yeah.
And with there not being as many coaches, you kind of do push yourself and push your teammates, in practice, because there's a lot of, alone time with just.
Oh, it is,
so.
Especially if you're someone who's a part of that jumps group or throws group where you don't have a ton of time with the coaching staff. And in a lot of cases, if you have a big team, you're fighting for maybe 3 or 4 spots at a conference championship. Things get heated between people quite fast, as people will learn in the track and field scene. People are not always the kindest to each other when it comes to getting to extremely competitive. You do worry at times that, like, if I don't qualify for conference, where does my scholarship look?
Right.
How do my performances this year stack up against where I was last year? Or a freshman who comes in, maybe outthrows you in the first meet, and you're a senior, and you're like, how did this happen?
Right. I mean, yeah, that and then even if like a football guy or someone comes in like Chris Collier, and is putting up numbers. I remember whenever I was a freshman, we had a guy by the name of Tony Kinzer. Tony, if you're watching, I love you, man. But Tony was a national qualifier in the high jump, and he played basketball, and he was dunking on everybody. So.
Oh, yeah.
And his practice was dunking.
Yeah.
There was no track practice. His practice was dunking the basketball.
Oh, yeah.
So
you see from the track side that overall athleticism that plays into so many of the events also translates to other sports quite well. On the track side, it does suck if you are someone who's like, I dedicate my whole year to track, and then someone comes off the football field in November and smokes you in December.
Yeah.
Which is something that people don't often take too lightly, but it's very common. A lot of these running backs and skill position players, the 40-yard dash time, your 60-meter time, they kind of go together.
Yeah.
It's not too far off. It's an extra 20 meters, but you can run that if you're a good athlete.
And it makes you, I think that makes you, even a better football player.
Oh, for sure. It's something that I know they talk about a lot, but so many successful NFL and Division I players also ran track. Something that we're not seeing as much now is coaches break down on, we don't want kids playing two sports. We don't want them to get injured. But how many people did you even know in high school, I'm sure, that played multiple sports? I'm sure you were in that camp too.
Yeah.
When basketball season ended, you went somewhere else. For me, when soccer ended, I went to track.
Right.
It's very common. And something that I think that should be continued to be pushed is if you're good at a sport, just play it.
Earning your trust with honesty, integrity, and fairness, Millard Management protects you from unexpected crop losses with superior service you can count on. For all your crop insurance needs, look to Millard. Southwestern College Athletics is proud to partner with Millard Management.
Welcome back, everyone, as now we take a look ahead at everything going on around Southwestern this week. Tonight, we got a huge duo of matchups at home here in Stewart Fieldhouse. The Mound Builders are taking on Oakwood. This is kind of one each team needs to pick up before the end of the year.
Yeah, Oakwood number 3 in the nation for the men's side. So that's a huge one for the men's team, and the women's team definitely has another chance. In Stewart Fieldhouse to pick up a win. So hopefully we can get that done. Saturday, February 7th, the dance team will be at Bethel College. Baseball will be home versus Peru State College, the home opener for the baseball team. It's a doubleheader at 12 and 3, so make sure you come out to Broadway Sports Complex, support the Builders. And then men's and women's basketball, they'll be in Lindsborg versus Bethany College. Those games are at 1 and 3. And we've seen the men's side kind of slip up a little bit on the road. So we'll have to lock in on the weekend.
Yeah, it'll be 2 again, big games. The women's team struggled against Bethany in the first half. Bethany is climbing the KCAC standings, but again, just go out and play a game.
Yep.
Macy and Brianna, can it get hot? You don't know what can happen with that team. And then on Sunday, we're back at the Broadway Sports Complex for another baseball doubleheader against Peru State at 12 and 3. Come out and support the Builders. I think it'll be 2 great series, as now we are starting to see that the Builders pitching squad might be kind of elite this year.
Yeah, hopefully we can get that done. A little more experience on the bump. So hopefully, the baseball team will get some wins early.
Yeah, much needed.
Heading into the conference slate. On Tuesday, February 10th, they'll be home versus Heston College. That'll be at 1. So everybody's got plenty of chance to come and support the Builders. So it should be fun. The weather will be great.
Yeah, that's definitely much needed. We were very, very worried about that coming into this week. It looks like it's going to be nice all weekend and next week. So we'd really appreciate it. Any of the Builder alumni fans, anyone around Winfield, make your way out to Broadway and come support the Builders. But with that, that'll be a wrap for this episode of Builder Sports Live. We appreciate everyone tuning in, and we'll see you next Wednesday.